Morning guys, we are on our way to a working test, a charity working test over in the Lake District near Windermere I think. We've got our Starbucks breakfasts. I have a creme brulee frappuccino that Chris recommended. So I'm running Thor today and Norse. I'm going to put Norse in the puppy test and Thor is in the novice, and Chris is actually running Jake as well. So Chris hasn't ever done a test before. To be fair, I've done one before, and I did one with Thor when he was a puppy, and then I did a charity one with Jake and Thor after Thor's injury, but Thor ruined it from the get-go. Jake did do well and he got a certificate of merit because I was training him for that kind of thing at that time. When Thor wasn't well, I kind of decided to use Jake instead for that kind of training, but I don't know if he'll be as good today because I haven't really done that for like 2 years now with him. But Jake's gonna go with Chris, and he's a nice honest dog, so he's a nice one to play around with this kind of thing, and then it means Chris can take part. I think Thor is going to be like sitting on a bucking horse today. I don't think he's going to be very well behaved. We've got 2 bitches in season, we've had a couple of bitches in to see the studs, and he's a bit, well, he's just wound tight, and he's always wound tight, so he's very excited. We've also got May, just because May likes a day trip. She's not doing anything, she's just along for the ride. But yeah, so I thought I'd take you guys along with me. Actually not nervous, I think, because I just don't feel like, I know that Norse isn't ready for anything like this. He's just out for the social, and I don't feel like Thor is going to be very good at all. So I just think I need to enjoy it as just a day out with my dogs, which is good. Whereas I did a mock test a couple of weeks ago, and I was actually quite nervous for that. I think Thor came 3rd in that, which was good. And Chris did that with Jake as well. We actually have quite a few of Jake's puppies there today, so there's like a little family reunion going to go on, so that'll be cute. One of them is actually coming all the way from Germany, which is interesting, and we have actually met up with the owners last week. They came to see us and Jake, but we're seeing them again today, and there's a few more of his puppies there, and I've got some clients there as well, which is good. So it'll be nice, a nice social and a nice catch up with everybody, and hopefully a good day out. Weather's good, so yeah, and it's for charity, so it's all for a good cause. These are lovely. Where'd you get them from?
Norton Rosettes.
Really nice.
They're just a local company.
You sourced them, not Matt, obviously.
Obviously.
But what's in the goodie bag? There we are. Oh, test food. Sample of food. Look at me slobber already. Nervous slobber.
He's my boy.
Can't really see what's going on here. Ooh. Such lovely ground, isn't it?
Definitely coming on the water for place to shoot. Excellent.
You were invited last year and you didn't have time. Now you have time.
Now it's time for that.
There's Jake, baby from Germany. Avon. Oh. He is just so like Jake. No, look at my face.
Okay.
14.
Sounds like a machine gun, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
I'm not good and I just want to throw it.
Yeah,
having seen Jake again, like, well, over a year later,
Yeah.
he's identical.
Must be a thing for creme brulees at the moment. Another Jake puppy. So this is me in the open now. Chris recorded us doing the test for this class. I actually was zeroed first because I said Thor before I was told to. And I don't know why I did it. And I'm annoyed that I did because he actually did really well in this. So this is a mark out by the tree in the distance and then a blind over by this little pink marker. He actually goes on the wrong side of the wind from the blind, but he handled nicely to it. So then I have to pull him back to the area and then get him back in the area to pick the blind, which he then does now. And then he brings the blind back and shakes for some reason, whether he had something in his ear or what. He shakes here, drops the dummy, which is it's just not like Thor, so don't know what that was about. So we zeroed from two random silly mistakes here, and then out onto the mark, and he does the mark really well. I think I have to push him back a little bit, maybe. Do I? Maybe not. Maybe. Yeah, I think I do. I have to push him back. Yeah, there we go. And then he gets the mark. So for this one, it's a blind. So the judge has explained to me where the area of the blind is, and then she's asked me to take the lead off my dog and send the dog when she's told me to. And I do have to handle him quite a bit here. He has started being quite hesitant when running through cover because he's so wary of his foot and his injury that he goes off a line, which he did at the start. There was like a bit of cover in the front and I knew he wasn't going to take the correct line, and he knows, hence why he stops and looks back at me. So I have to handle him quite a bit into the area here, but I think I managed to keep him in the area nicely. I don't know what he marked for this because we left before we got my marks, just because I knew I wasn't going to be in the awards and we have dogs at home to get. But yeah, I have to keep pushing him back, I think, a little bit, and then he manages to get it. This one was where it went completely downhill. Obviously, we'd already zeroed in the first test anyway, but here is where Thor just, I don't even know where it went wrong. I mean, there was a family having a meal across the water and he didn't mark this, so it was meant to be a mark in the water. He looked across at the little hut and he was just adamant that the dummy was out there for some reason, so I had to handle him quite a bit. He did go in the water, so I was pleased, but I just ended up pulling him up. And I did ask if I could have a mark into the water afterwards just to have him achieve it, because I knew it wasn't the best scenario for him and he was just genuinely confused, but unfortunately I couldn't, which I don't think helped going forward into the next one. Not that I'm trying to make excuses for him, but he was exceptionally bad in the next one, which is not like Thor. So Thor was so bad in this one. I've never ever had him be so bad, to be completely honest. He just completely ignored any of my handling. I do believe it was probably because he didn't achieve anything out of the first one, and he does take things quite personally. Both myself and Chris were pretty shocked at how he behaved in this, but yeah, it's just one of those things, and dogs like to remind us that they're dogs. I think I'm pleased that Chris got all this on film, to be honest, because it's handy to show that we all do things wrong and we all have things to work on and learn. Obviously this is all new to me anyway. My dogs are pretty good workers, but this is definitely not something that we've ever trained for or aimed for properly. And yeah, we definitely have a lot to work on. So I'm glad I entered this was the open, and I'm glad I entered the open just because I know where I need to go. Although this actual test, I've never known Thor behave like this, so yeah, it was a little bit disappointing, to say the least. I should add that this is a blind without shot, but I don't think that threw him, because whenever I've trained blinds, I've never used shot anyway, so he was just being bad. So we're on our way back now. Not our day. Well, not our day to win. But I'm actually really pleased. So Chris filmed Thor in the open. I wasn't going to enter him in the open, but I thought while I was there I might as well give it a go and see what it's all about and the difference between the novice and the open. And so Chris has filmed that, so I will have inserted that and probably explained what each test was in there. So going back to puppy, so obviously I had Norse in the puppy, he's amazed me today. Like, I'm so pleased with him. He hasn't really done loads. Like, I've got him good for me, but I don't really bring my dogs on much at this stage, really. I'm happy with how he is with his dummy work, his memories, things like that. But like little things. So the first test was sitting him, so walk to heel, stop at a marker, sit, and then walk away. And I knew then that he would fail, because I've only ever really sat him up and left him with other dogs, because that's what I need out in the field, is him to just sit steady with other dogs. I haven't really, if I've got them one-to-one, I don't really do a lot of that. So that was good to see. Like, I would eventually, but I haven't really done it at this stage, like a simple stay. So I knew he would creep on that, which he did, so I had to like ask him for the sit again. You recalled them, dropped the dummy, turned, walked away, turned, and then sent them as a memory, and he achieved the heel and the memory fine. So everything he knew, he did really well there. And what I knew he would struggle, as soon as he said it, I knew that there was going to be something there. And then the next one was a marker replacement, so he's never done anything like that before. So borderline, like, well, it is a blind, but obviously they've already ran to the area, and he's definitely never done a blind before. So I was really pleased with that. He got the first marker replacement, he got 15 out of 24, and then we went on to do another marker replacement in harder ground, and he got 19 out of 20 for that. So he improved from one to the next, which I'm really, really pleased with, because again, everything that I have trained, he did really well, and everything that was new, he gave a good go to, so I couldn't really ask for more from him. And then the next one, what was the next one? Oh, water, yeah. On the water, I was going to film there was some cows walking across the bridge, across the dual carriageway, which is quite funny, but I wasn't fast enough to film it. Now it's ready for the water, because he jumped. He didn't run in, but he jumped. And when we first did water retrieves with him, we took him down just before he got his hips done, and we'd never done anything like this, but it was a really hot day, and we thought, we'll take him down to the water. Threw a dummy in for him, and he just ran out and then was like, nah, I'm not bothered, and just started sniffing along the bank and just did his own thing. So this was months and months ago. So we've been like really, like, when we have been doing dummy throwing for him or doing little bits of water, not that we've maybe done it in the last like 2 weeks, haven't we, in the hot weather, we've not really been putting any steadiness to it. So he jumped, which again, like, my fault, because I just wanted him super keen. And then but he corrected himself, so I picked it, came back. So yeah, I was pleased with him. So he got 60, what did he get? I'll have to check. So he got 69 out of 80. That's really good. That is good. I was going to say out of 100, because I obviously can't do maths, but the winning dog was 76. So yeah, that is actually really good. I'm pleased with that. We did the novice. Chris did the novice with Jake, and I did the novice with Thor, and I wasn't with Chris, but Jake did well. You said he didn't mark very well, which is really not like Jake. Really, really weird. Really weird. But you got 60 out of 80, didn't you? Yeah, 60 out of 80. Can't really remember his scores. You got good scores actually. It was like 17, 18, but one was a 12. That will have been the mark, I would imagine. So the novice was, I'm trying to remember. The novice was a mark, which Thor did really well. I think he got 18 for the mark out of 20. I think he just, oh, actually, yeah, so he did the mark and he flushed about 50 or 60 pheasants, like just before. How all them dogs ran past and didn't win them, I like sent them in any way, I do not know. But yeah, he like went on his straight line for the mark and then just stopped and like literally just put his nose in a bit of cover because he obviously could scent them in some way, and flushed up loads of pheasants. Like the judge, I think, got his phone out to film it and then asked me to, like, he just stopped and watched them go, but the judge was like, oh, just, that was unlucky, like just call your dog back in and go out and wait, let a couple of more dogs come in, let him, you know, kind of forget what's happened, and then we'll do it again. So he did stop short of where he'd scented them pheasants, so I just pushed him back and then out, I think, and then so like handled a little bit on it. 18 out of 20. And then he had a mark and a blind, but you sent for the mark, so it shot to the blind over here and then a mark over there, and you sent for the mark first and then you turned and went for the blind. I got, I think, 17 out of 20 for that, and he had to handle on the mark, but the blind he just did straight away, like straight to it, and winged it and had it. And then the water was weird for Thor, so he like went in. I didn't see properly because he was facing away from me, but Lena, who has the Jake puppy over from Germany, she was filming it for me. She said he like stopped and like went up and then like panicked and came out of the water, which was really, really bizarre. I thought, that's odd, like just not like Thor. So anyway, it came out and then I just had to handle him, put him back in, and then he went in and picked it fine. He got 15 out of 20 for that, and then there was another blind, like a pure blind to shot, and I think, no, maybe I've got my marks wrong, I don't know. Total of 64 out of 80, and Chris got 60 out of 80, so not bad. I still won. But yeah, it was good because Jake, like, Chris doesn't, well, you've never done anything like that before, have you? And not that I have really either, but I kind of have a little bit more of an idea of what to do, and like I handle the dogs a little bit more than what Chris does. You're not really used to that. But yeah, it was a good day. And then I just decided to do the open because we were there, and I just thought, why not? It's all part of the training. I was pleased. I think Thor did well. Like, I think he was fairly consistent. The water was random, but he was fairly consistent. He handled nicely. So I just thought, well, I'll just try the open because then I get an idea of what is needed and what is expected and what the difference is. He did really, really well on the first one, and the second he did okay, and then it went weird from there. The last test, I've never ever had him behave so badly. A nice day. We've had a really good day. Lovely people, really well organised. So Sophie, who organised it, did an incredible job. Phenomenal, and her mum did well as well, like helping her. Very, very well done. And the prizes looked amazing. The raffle looked amazing. Matt did a great job as well with the tests. It was nice to see. It was nice to go along and support our friends in something that is new to obviously Matt's business, but also Sophie helping him. So it was good to see. And then loads of Jake puppies as well. Really good to see the Jake puppies. I'd like to see some more Thor puppies out there, and then hopefully one day some Norse puppies out there. But yeah, but it was a good day and something a bit different for us, and I think it's definitely made me feel like I should go and just do more of these, because it's another element to the gun dog world that I don't have any experience in. And like me and Matt, when we train together, we say this, we say like how we both have very different specifics to, like, he's more tests and trials, whereas I'm very much like hardcore picking up. Like both of us were told our feedback from the judges, like both me and Chris, our feedback from the judges were like, we should have handled our dogs more. Like we should have stopped them and like pulled them into an area or like put them into an area, whereas we're just like, careful, that thing at the end of their face will get them out of it. So we just like let them go, don't we? We're very much like, we're just used to the dogs figuring it out. So it's interesting to see it from a different perspective and know what a judge is looking for, what you have to kind of train for. And that's also why I wanted to do the open, because I wanted to know what I was going to train for. I definitely like to do some more with Norse. I'd keep going with Thor, not too bothered by Jake. Like, Jake's good. Jake's a good working dog. Like, he doesn't need to do it, but he's a good one to play about with, isn't he? Like, he's a very honest dog. But I would like to do some more with Thor, like just tidy him up a bit, because I think he's good. I think he's like, for considering what I've done with him, I think he's like a good like level. Like, we've never really, especially not in the last 3 years, done anything like this. I kind of dip in and out of training him, don't I? Like, after his injury, I was like dipping in and out of taking him back to that kind of training, but then we just get frustrated because of his foot and how so those that don't know, Thor I did buy to test and trial, and then he had his injury and was crate rested, and then for 6 months, and then just kind of came out and he just had quite a few bad habits, and I kind of just gave up and was just like, oh, he'll just be a picking up dog now. But he's remembered a lot of his handling. I think I just need to maybe be more consistent with him and keep him going, and now I know what I'm aiming for. Maybe next year we'll enter some tests. It was actually nice to see some people there that were helpful and encouraging, and you know, one guy was telling me how his dog didn't win a trial till it was 7 or something like that, and it's like, oh, because I felt like I'd missed the mark with Thor, I think, because I got him to a certain level before his injury and then felt like we'd gone backwards, but really I can just keep going. So I'm going to keep going, tidy him up, and then Norse I could bring on behind, but it's also finding the time because I train so many of other people's dogs, and yeah, I don't really, I kind of just, I'm used to training my dogs. They work a couple of seasons, tick, done, just tidy them up, steadiness, switch off. Once they're away hunting and they've worked a season, you don't really do much with them. It's mainly just like manners, like, yeah, they're pretty good really. So it's nice to have something to work on. So yeah, we've got an hour and 19 left to drive home. I'm gonna have all the other dogs to do, so it's been a long day, but we both really enjoyed it. Chris has really enjoyed it as well, which I'm pleased with, because I didn't know if he would. You bought yourself some new boots, didn't you? Some Didito boots. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else to add. Sorry I didn't get much of the actual test, but Chris filmed me in Thor in the open. You didn't film in the not. I think because with the puppy we didn't know what anyone was going to be like, so we like at first. Sorry. No, in the novice we went together, you wouldn't have been able to film that, but in the puppy you could have probably filmed that, but then you don't know if they're going to let you. Like when Chris first came up to film in the open, the guy was like, oh no, and then I was like, oh, it's just my husband, he was going to film, and he was like, oh fine, okay, like obviously realised that it was just a charity test and it was fine. And then Matt would probably be like, just let her do it. So yeah, I didn't interview Matt wanted an interview, but he was running around doing all sorts of work. But no, it was good to catch up with some people, and overall good day, encouraging day. I think if anyone is thinking of doing it, like, so I'm just going to give a little shout out to Alison. I don't know if she watches this, but Alison is a lady who used to train with me a few years ago, and Ivy, her golden retriever, lovely dog. It's been amazing to see her after 2 years. She was so nervous, bless her, so nervous. I actually have Hazel, Alison's spaniel, in that I bred at the moment for residency, but she was so nervous and she did so well. I hope she's driving home feeling absolutely buzzing, because I know she was super nervous. It was great to see some great to see some Jake puppies out there, and yeah, just lovely people, lovely place, amazing ground, lovely day, good weather, yeah.